Tonight, Clint and BZ are going to tear through the gristle of today's screaming headlines and rip out the sinewy tendons of truth ensconced within, all from the hoary streets of Sacramento, Fornicalia, exposing the trembling toadies, the sniveling jackanapes, and fripperous fopdoodles infesting altogether too much of this great nation of ours. Feel free to partake of our chat room at SHRmedia.com. Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of the Zeppmeister, we are doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts for double the money, of course. Some contents, by the way, may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC batteries not included. Tear across dotted line. Hejo in Mexico. Patent pending. Warranty void in Montenegro. Tonight, Clint and BZ will talk about a veritable gaggle, no, a shrewdness, a murmuration, an obstinacy. I have trouble with that word. A warren, a pandemonium, a gaggle, a muster, a covey, an unkindness, a maelstrom, a knot, a shiver, a murder, an intrusion, a smack, a hive, a prickle, yea, a veritable cauldron of topics. Yonder, across from me, is Sackheads Clint, and I will be your server and obese somnambulistic reprobate for tonight. Sorry, we don't take American Express or personal checks. Remember, this is only an exhibition, not a competition, so please, as we ask,
no wagering.
No wagering. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And you told them we don't take personal check.
No personal checks.
Or
American Express. Right. Or we don't even take American Express Black.
I don't care who pays, BZ, and the fact that you wouldn't want to take something.
I shouldn't even really be mentioning that, should I?
You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because American Express White, American Express Black. I mean, does it really matter?
Umber. There's an American
matter,
Express.
right?
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah, you could say American Express void of all color. Right?
Could. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say
because
that.
we don't see that. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. I'm the little deck over here. Oh,
you didn't know these were pressurized, did you?
No, I didn't.
How cool is that?
Do it again. Come on.
Is that cool?
Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
Wait, we got to give it a second for it to get the pressure equalized.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, it's ready. Now, ready?
Yeah. Here we go. Go ahead.
Is that cool?
Quite cool.
That is cool.
Now,
huh?
Sean said that he was going to be putting in some new. He said he was going to be putting in some new headphones.
Okay.
These are the ones that I like. So apparently those must be a little bit newer. What does that say on the top? Audio Technica?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So those are the new ones.
Yeah,
the new pressurized.
I didn't know that they were pressurized, which is weird because it was like.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be more comfortable.
So yeah, they are.
Are they more comfortable?
They are. Yeah, okay. And they're practically noise canceling. Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good to know. Over here, to my right, where no one can see it, but you can.
I can
look over there. We have something new called a Stream Deck.
Ooh.
And one of the things that I was having difficulty with is transitioning, for whatever reason, XSplit. It's
Deck
Stream
DECK. DECK. I thought you said something different. I thought maybe SHR was going a different direction. I'm glad that we're not. So now that I actually understand what you're talking about.
Anyway, it makes the transitions in the video. I don't know what you're talking about. What did you think it said?
I thought you said Stream Dick. And I thought maybe we were going a different direction with everything.
Okay.
Because those pay sites can be pretty. And then you started talking about transition, and I didn't know where you were going.
You were talking pitching, catching. It's like it almost doesn't mean it doesn't make any difference.
I didn't know where you're going.
Okay. All right. Anyway, over here you guys can't see it, but the Stream Deck is in. Clint can see it.
Yes.
Stream Deck is in. Deck. E. Stream Deck.
Stream Deck.
Deck.
Yes.
With an E. Clint can see it, and that's okay because thanks to Mike in chat, the Alaskan in chat. Somebody shat myself.
Really?
Yeah.
You did?
No, I didn't. I'm in there. I'm B Zeppelin in the chat room.
Huh.
And then there's one viewer. So welcome to all the people, including one viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Right now. As per normal, we Clint and I have been corresponding back and forth about what we wanted to talk, the topics for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came up with a bunch. He came up with a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
There's another
together. That's
one,
a bushel.
A bushel. A bushel
We have
and
a
a peck.
bushel and a peck of
That's right. A
topics.
bushel and a peck and a dead cat around your neck. See how
Yes.
it kind of rhymes there? A bushel and a peck and a dead wolverine around your neck.
Yeah.
Or a dead ermine around your neck.
I don't even
Or
know.
a dead marmot around your neck. Or a dead nematode around your neck.
I don't know what that means.
How many nematodes does it take to fill a swamp?
1.
Wow, okay, next question. Next question. Okay,
Yeah.
the next question. Tonight, the password is
Nematode.
nematode. Thank you. So if we ask you in chat, folks, for $100 million, the answer to the password tonight is
Yes. You can have $100 million. SHR.
that's okay.
That's the answer.
That's right, because now they know what the password is.
Right.
If they got into the chat room early enough
Yes.
to hear the password. That's why it always pays to be in the chat room early. And now I've started putting into the Facebook stream and also the YouTube stream and the SHR Media stream, the Spreaker stream. I've been putting in there, please come to the chat room at shrmedia.com, because some people still chat in YouTube and they still chat in Facebook, and we really want to have all you people come on over.
And
come
by
on
you
over
people-
to shrmedia.com. You
But-
want to chat? Chat with the bunch. Chat with great people right there. I'm looking at them.
And by you people, we don't mean that in any kind of racially charged or derogatory way.
But we do mean you, capital Y,
Right.
people,
People-
capital P.
As in humans.
Right, you people.
Not that we discriminate against animals or aliens.
No. Some of my best friends are from the planet Zephron. Maybe you've not heard me mention that, but
I have heard you mention
on
the planet Zephron.
on the in the saloon, I have mentioned a couple of contacts with Zephron. Oh, that reminds me. Wow, okay. Just reminds me, tomorrow night I want to pump my show just a little bit.
Yeah.
And let everybody know that Alan Thomas, famed Bigfoot and paranormal and UFO hunter, investigator, researcher, is going to be on or in the saloon tomorrow night for the first
very nice.
hour. And probably we're going to end up talking, because you may not have heard the newest information, but this Storm Area 51 stuff,
Yeah.
it's kind of going somewhere, Clint.
It ain't going to end well.
We talked about
It's not
that.
going to end well. Good luck. Good luck.
Hey,
luck.
Jay from New Zealand. This is BZ's. You can see in the chat room there, Clint. There's Jay. She is from New Zealand. She had a great call about 2 weeks ago. So welcome. It's good to see you there. The Alaskan Mike and one unidentified viewer who we shall not unmask, because we don't do that here.
We don't.
Do you have any good Clint stories?
I don't know that it's
Any half-assed Clint stories?
I don't know
any
that it's-
terrible Clint stories.
I don't know that it's a good Clint story. So my house has had a revival of a particular song. Oh, do you want to give a shout out?
Yes, I do. Thanks again to Clint for getting me my favorite poison. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Which, I shall open
So
right now.
we've been singing a song in the Sackhead Clint household, and the song you would recognize. It's What Makes the Red Man Red. Do you know what that's from?
No, I don't.
Peter Pan.
Really?
The Peter Pan movie, and it's where Peter Pan is meeting with the Indian tribe.
Huh. No,
Right, and did you not see Peter Pan?
apparently not.
The
and if
Disney cartoon?
And if I did, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, so it's you need to listen to the song, so you may not appreciate this much. But first of all, just think of the title, What Makes the Red Man Red.
Okay. Well, first,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Washington. Football team.
Redskins, yes, it is, and that's so it is Peter Pan and John Michael and Wendy are visiting the Indian tribe in Neverland, and they sing
Bad Indians in Neverland.
song. Yes, they
Were
did.
they oppressed?
No, they were actually a happy bunch. As a matter of fact, the princess's name was Tiger Lily.
Well, that's kind
Remember
of nice.
Captain Hook kidnapped Princess Tiger
Dustin
Lily?
Hoffman.
Captain Hook was Dustin Hoffman?
Right. That's all I remember.
No,
is
that's the movie
movie.
Hook. No. I'm talking about the cartoon.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I saw it when I was. I can't remember.
It probably. I think it came out when you were like 37.
Yeah, it did. Well, I didn't go to cartoons a lot then.
Wow. So, anyways, you need to look up the song. I'm not going to play it for you because I don't.
I knew Charlie Chaplin. He was a good friend of mine. We used to go out to steak dinners together.
I don't want to. I don't want to infringe on any rights or anything, copyright laws, because I know Disney are kind of a-holes about that.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, but if you get it, look up the song. It's called "What Makes the Red Man Red," and either listen to it or watch the video of it. It's pretty short. BZ, I'll play it for you on the break. But just if you can tell by the song, it's pretty stereotypical Native American stuff, and they're doing a traditional Indian dance while they're singing this song and everything else. It was very entertaining as a kid. I'm watching it. It was very entertaining. It's a Disney cartoon. It's Peter Pan. And as I'm listening to the words, I was like, man, if this was made today, people would lose their minds.
Oh, if just saying that, wouldn't people lose their jobs?
Yeah, probably. And my kids are going around the house singing it, and I thought, wow, should I tell them don't sing this? And I said, absolutely not. That's bullshit. It's a Peter Pan cartoon. It's Disney. I'm not going to tell them to stop singing that song. That's ridiculous. And I thought, wow, I know somebody out there, if they really listen to the words of the song, somebody is going to lose their mind. And it's a funny song. It's an entertaining song. It's a catchy song. So I decided to look it up. And lo and behold, BZ.
Okay, you mean look up the words?
No, I decided to look up. I said Peter Pan. What made the Red Man red?
Okay.
I just looked it up, like did an internet search on it, and one of the things that popped up was a Huffington Post article.
Oh, I see where you're going already with this bad boy. So this has already been done.
From December 6th, 2017. Probably 50-something years after the movie came out. And there's the article, so you can actually see. And there's the picture of the chief.
Should I Bigfoot the title of the article?
No, the name. No, yeah, go ahead, please.
The title of the article, we're not making this up, is Peter Pan and the Roots of Racism. Now, if I had a producer, what you would have heard is Peter Pan and the Roots of Racism. But I don't have a producer, so
you won't hear that.
No, that's not what you heard. You didn't hear that.
No. So this article is dated December 6, 2017, and it was by contributor Elizabeth Broadbent. Man, my eyes are bad. First of all,
wait.
First of all,
but did you know?
Hang on.
Did you just see what you just did?
I did. I did. So.
Because I saw what you just did.
So this broad who's apparently bent writes an article about racism with just a perfect leftist liberal name that just screams.
Go ahead.
Broadbent.
Yeah. True.
That's her name.
Yeah, it is.
It's
You're not making it up.
It's right there. There.
Yeah, they can see it now.
Right there. There you go. Yep. So that's her name. I didn't make it up. And here is the Huffington Post article.
Yep, they see it.
With a picture of the Indian chief from Peter Pan. And I just want to quote, this article is so ridiculous, first of all, in my opinion, because it just goes to show you how people will find racism in
great lengths.
Anything. And it's not only racism, everybody is offended nowadays, right? I was instructing a class today, and one of the things I instructed, I actually had to mention gender. And of course, the gender I mention are male, female. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? Somebody someday is probably going to complain because they're going to say that they are insert title.
Well,
but tough shit.
But yeah,
biology says this.
For the people,
it's a chromosomal thing, right?
Right. For the people that don't know, however, and most folks who listen to us do, we are in California. We are in Sacramento, the capital of California. So when Clint makes mention of this, it being California, then yeah, that's one of the first things that goes through his head. So yeah, I get that part.
So as sad as that is, so I just want to read a little bit of this article, not because it's a great article, because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
This broad is ridiculous in this article. I don't know her personally. She may be a very nice person. She may be completely reasonable, although the evidence I have suggests that's not the case. However, she may be. She may be a very sweet person. Can I say sweet? Is that condescending? I'm not trying to be condescending. So here's the article. She says, quote, "It seems trivial now. Amid the ugly role of Ferguson, the choking brutality of our police forces." Yeah, no, I don't think she's reasonable. She's probably actually batshit crazy.
Yeah.
The "I can't breathe, serve and protect, hands up, don't shoot" rhetoric of an increasingly angry protest movement talking about Peter Pan seems fairly ridiculous, if not outright offensive. "Let this one go," someone told me. "There's too much else going on." And it certainly seems that way. But the issues of NBC's recent Peter Pan Live, and indeed with Peter Pan in general, lay here the dark heart of American racism. White America strains away from the ugly truths of Ferguson, of Sanders, of the black men shot by police force sworn to protect them. But a beloved fairy tale? How could something so innocuous be so wrong? How dare we go after your childhood, the ultimate fantasy of Neverland? Peter Pan means magic. He means adventure, imagination, pirate fighting, and adult confounding. Lost to the straitjacket of civilization. He can fly, and how many of us yearn to go with him? Wow, so it seems like she actually captured what Peter Pan was supposed to be about.
Well, there has to be a but in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We love Peter Pan now, even though those who agree that America has a serious race problem don't want to face the fall of a boy who ran away the day he was born. We've lost our faith in our police, blah, blah, blah. So it goes on. I'm not going to read this because it's ridiculous. It goes on to talk about the racist, particularly of the Indians. They're just Indians, though originally, at least Peter Pan and Wendy, Barry calls the tribe the Pickaninny Indians, which seriously, whoa. The Pickaninny Indians, whoa. So did you hear the part where I talked about that she was blaming Peter Pan in general and the Peter Pan racism on Americans? Did you hear it? Did you notice that? Because she said...
I tried not to.
Well, she said specifically... The problem with Peter Pan Live and Peter Pan in general is the racism it's displayed throughout it, and by Americans particularly, right? Do you know who wrote Peter Pan?
God, I used to.
Sir James Matthew Barrie. Sir.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I would not have guessed that. Nope.
Sir.
I would not have guessed that.
He was a Scottishman. He was Scottish. There are no sirs in America in terms of having a title of nobility. Or
I call you sir.
Yes, but that's different. This is actually the title. His name was Sir James Matthew Barrie. He was a Scottish novelist. He died in 1937. That means Peter Pan was written way back when, and not by a fucking American. You ignorant bitch.
Wait, what's your point?
My point is, in her ridiculous article, she calls out Americans for racism in Peter Pan.
Written by a Scottish
novelist. Way back when.
Couldn't we say something like, "You can't write that stuff"?
You can't even make that up.
No. The stuff writes itself. That stuff writes itself now.
Does anybody else not see how ridiculous that is?
Hands? Anybody? Bueller?
The Peter Pan statue by Sir George Frampton is in a garden in London.
That was Peter's great-great-great-great-grandfather. Just saying.
Okay. Look, the story takes place in London. It's a Scottish guy's interpretation of Peter Pan in Neverland.
Okay.
With a family from London. It has nothing to do with America.
Are you suggesting that perhaps her ire, Ms. Broadbent, her ire would best be directed across the damn ocean?
Yes.
Instead of the United Snakes of America?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Way to take a story of adventure, and she kind of captured it in that one sentence. Peter Pan's about adventure and never growing up and all these other things. Let's take it to the next level. Why do they stereotype pirates? Why are pirates so evil?
I don't know.
And why are the pirates mostly white? Why are they stereotyping them and putting them as bad guys? What if they're just misunderstood? They weren't rehabilitated. Society just kind of left them out to dry.
Boy, do I have some articles about that later.
They weren't just adults. They weren't adults. This wasn't about children not having a family and what happens when they're left to their own devices.
Why are pirate jokes so bad?
Because they are.
Because they are.
Comments, BZ?
I think your point is well taken.
That's my Clint story.
Okay.
All of that. I can't even frickin' sing a damn Disney song from a classic cartoon with my kids without having to think of this garbage. And then at one point I thought, that's so ridiculous. Who would attack that? I actually had to frickin' look it up, and lo and behold, some ignoramus from the Huffington Post actually frickin' did it.
They went where you thought they were going to go, only they went there. How long is that article?
About 2 years ago.
Okay, so they went there 2 years before you even had
about
that
a year
thought
and a half
today.
ago. About a year and a half ago. Yes.
That's how inculcated into leftist society this crap really is. I want to try something new tonight.
Yeah. That's how up we are as a society.
God, without a doubt.
And then to blame Americans. And it wasn't even a freaking American story.
But here's why, though. I'm sure, as with all the American media maggots, she did no background for this, did no investigation for this, and thought that simply because it was a Disney movie and that's American and everyone knows that Walt Disney was every kind of ist and obe that, you want to label him as, that made it, that brought it directly into her gun sights.
So let me read, hang on. Except we have to, no matter how painful, no matter how stomach churning, white America must take a long, hard look at itself. That includes casting a light on our beloved stories, among them Peter Pan. Yeah, there's an Indian thing in there. Princess Tiger Lily. The Disney version has a squirm-inducing song titled What Makes the Red Man Red.
Oh, there you go. You finally got to it.
But surely, while Neverland isn't exactly politically correct, it's not that kind of racist, right? Well, considering that the stage play has Chief Great Big Little Panther saying to Peter that, "You great white father," yes, it is racist. And while the fantasy has long been protected by its intentions, the Indians are portrayed through the eyes of a child. It's time to confront the deep-seated problems with the story itself, and even with modern portrayals. The story itself is wrong. The Scottish author, Scottish author. I thought this was an American thing. My story just fell apart right there. I'm not going to say anything about it.
Here's an idea, leftists. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Instead of fucking with history and you don't like the story as written, write your own fucking stories.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
How about that?
Yes, I found a story.
Just do your own.
I found a story and I just about lost my goddamn mind. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I just about lost my fucking mind. And the name of, so let me see if I can find, I actually took a picture of the book. It was so ridiculous. The name of the book, and you can look it up yourself. Is this when you went to the store?
Which store? You went to a Target or something like that.
I did. I went to a Target, and the name of the story, it's by, and you can look these authors up. The name of the book
God, I've got a good memory.
The name of the book is Woke Baby. And it's by
Baby.
It's by Mahogany L. Brown with an E at the end.
Why not?
And
why wouldn't it?
And illustrated by Theodore Taylor III. Now, I encourage you to look up Miss Mahogany Brown.
Okay.
On the cover of Woke Baby is a African American or a darker complected baby with 2 raised fists in the air.
Oh wait, here you got to go vertical. It looks like it's a vertical.
It's not. It's just so you look it up online. Woke Baby is the name of the children's book. Let me read you one of the lines.
Let the folks know so that they can see.
Woke Baby. So here's one of the illustrations in the book, and you can't see because my phone isn't right. But one of the illustrations of the book, BZ, you can see it.
Yeah.
There, the baby has a fist raised up.
That's right.
And here's an article, a quote from the book. I did not write this. It says, "Look at your fists, fingers curled into a panther's paw.
Panther's paw. Ooh.
Pointing up, 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 reaching for justice."
Ooh, that is a woke baby.
And another line from the book.
Dang, that's a woke baby.
Another, like a good revolutionary, you never ever sleep. So when you say write your own book, they do.
They did.
They did.
I bet that's selling like hotcakes.
The fact that it's actually in print in a bookstore, there is a demand for it, obviously, right? So now you have parents teaching their babies, literally from birth, to raise their fist like a panther's paw. Who raises their fist? What group raises their fist?
Man,
raises their fist.
Chat room, can you help us out with that? I can't think of
anything.
Think of anybody.
I can't. Black Panthers.
Black Panthers.
The Black Panthers
matter. Black Panthers matter.
Wait a second.
Wait,
like a panther, raised fist like a panther's paw. And then like a good revolutionary, you never sleep. Who was the Black Panther Party? Who are they? Oh, they're militant revolutionaries.
Right.
Who despise the white race. Interesting.
What?
And now we're encouraging babies to never sleep like a good revolutionary because sleep's not important.
No.
Sleep's not important for a baby. Don't ever sleep.
No.
Don't ever sleep because sleeping is weakness.
Well, Neil Young said, and it was very true when Neil Young said, hey, rust never sleeps. Am I wrong?
What never sleeps?
Rust. Rust never sleeps.
This is true.
Okay, when we come back, on my show I have happy stories, and I try not to do happy stories here, but I just became aware of a certain situation where a lawsuit came out, or there's a decision from the federal government, I should say. And I'm sure there will be a subsequent lawsuit. It's about abortion. And when I read this, particularly in light of the nurse involved, folks, when we come back, I want you to imagine being put in this nurse's position, for example. So that's Sackheads Clint over there. I am Sackheads BZ. You are listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny. We are a real shot show, and we'll be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcats Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplanestalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for, for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of...
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads Against Tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. Sackheads Clint, Sackheads BZ. Here we are together. You're listening to the Shat Show, Sackheads Against Tyranny. And as I indicate, let's see. That's Sackheads Clint over there.
Right here.
And he's over on the right-hand side of the screen. And I'm BZ right here. Thanks for listening. You can jump into the chat room at shrmedia.com. And we're simulcasting the video on the SHR Media Facebook page and also on the SHR Media YouTube channel. If you're there, folks, we invite you. Please come over to the chat room at shrmedia.com. That everybody introduces each other, they shake hands, and there's great frivolity all around. Alcohol may have been involved, or perhaps not. In the process of coming over here tonight, I was listening to Jay Sekulow. It's a repeat of Jay Sekulow at the ACLJ.
And they were talking about a particular case that occurred in Vermont. And I thought, I find this very difficult to believe. And I found the story that they were talking about. And you tell me what you would think if you were this nurse. Here's the story. I've got two versions of the story. This one is from Burlington Free Press. There it is. Feds say University of Vermont Medical Center forced a nurse to participate in an abortion. Well, the force doesn't sound good, so what are the details? Vermont's largest hospital forced a nurse to participate in an abortion procedure over her moral objections in violation of federal law, a government civil rights agency said Wednesday, today. So this is a today story. The UVMC in Burlington could lose some federal funding if the two parties cannot agree within 30 days on the hospital's policies on employee participation in abortions, the Office of Civil Rights of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, announced. This is the crux of the biscuit. The nurse believed she would be participating in a procedure after a patient had suffered a miscarriage. Office Director Roger Severino told reporters on a conference call. Instead, he said, she was told, "Please don't hate me," by the doctor when it became clear it was an abortion. The nurse asked to be relieved during what Severino described as an elective abortion and was told no. She was told no. She couldn't leave. Faced with the prospect of losing her job, she relented and has been traumatized ever since. But I discovered there's more to the story. And more to the story is this. She was told that that was going to be a D&C procedure. That's like D David and C. D and C procedure, which is basically that is a dilation and curettage. So in case you're wondering what that is, folks, that is a medical procedure to remove tissue from inside the uterus, and doctors perform D&Cs to diagnose and treat certain uterine conditions like heavy bleeding or to clear the uterine lining after a miscarriage or abortion. I also discovered that up on the board, and the reason she didn't mind partaking of this is that it was listed on the board as a D&C when everyone else knew that it was going to be an abortion. And because of her religion, she made it very clear that she was not going to be involved in abortions. So, could you say something similar to she was tricked? Was this purposeful? Was this misleading? Were they short on nurses? So she figured, okay, either I do this or I lose my job. To her, that's the criticality of this thing. So this takes place in 2017. She filed the complaint in May of 2018. The office uncovered serious discrimination by UVMMC against nurses and staff who cannot, in good conscience, assist in elective abortions. That happens to be now a violation of federal laws known as the Church Amendments. In a statement, however, the hospital said, quote, it was disappointed by the action of the Civil Rights Office. So this nurse, who it was clearly known, a couple of fact patterns I discovered from the story of the show coming over. I was listening to Seculo. It was not, I guess you could say mistakenly, but it was factually incorrect what procedure she was going to be taking in. It said D&C on the board. And so she thought as she walked in, gowned up, ready to go to assist in a D&C, then the doctor apologizes and says, oh no, it's an abortion. Then the nurses and staff who don't believe in that and don't want to take part in something like that, then they're essentially levied harassment because of this. Oh, and I forgot one of the best parts. The entire nursing administrator, she's a head or was a former head of the local area of
Planned Parenthood.
There you go.
Oh, weird.
I don't get that.
Weird.
Yeah.
But their policy is that they can refuse?
The federal government says that, in terms of civil rights, she had the ability to refuse. She wasn't given the ability to refuse. Clear guilt was also indicated to me by the fact that the doctor at the last moment said, as I'm sure her eyes were getting wide, the doctor said, I'm sorry, it's an abortion. The doctor knew full well what was going on. The doctor knew what kind of a procedure it was going to be. They just decided it would be in the best interest of everyone to make sure that they didn't tell her. Because they knew
that she would not
that she would not want to partake.
And they forced
in
her
the killing
to
of a human being. Yeah. And she acquiesced, she said, because she realized, and I'm sure it would have been true at least in 2017, that, well, okay, either I do this or I get fired. It's my job. Yeah, I don't know her personal lifestyle, whether she's got a big family, single mother, who knows. But her job is on the line.
Well, now I'm sure she's traumatized. Has she been back to work?
There's nothing in that about the story like that. And I don't have any more information. But now this complaint was upheld. My guess would be there's likely a suit coming.
Oh, I would absolutely guess.
Yeah. I see Jay wants to call in, and I reply that we still haven't fixed the echo on the phone calls, and I'd rather than have you waste money on a long distance phone call from New Zealand to the States here. Save your cash for this time around. We got to go back into the cameras, and I think we got to take out some volume in some of the cameras because they have microphones in the cams as well, and I think one of them is still on. That's above my pay grade. Anyway, any thoughts about that? Since that seems
it's
one of the most disgusting, devious things that I can think of in quite some time. There's some news too. Also, for those of you who weren't listening to the news today, Kirsten Gillibrand decided that she's calling it quits today. So Gabbard, this guy Steyer from California, who is multi-bucks, big bucks. Let's see, there was another guy that quit too, who was so low level I can't even remember his name. So at least finally the Democrats find that they're closing in. Oh, and Tulsi Gabbard, this is interesting. She just got through serving 2 weeks in the military because I think she's still works for the Guard, so she has to do duty, and she got through with 2 weeks duty. She's a Democrat from Hawaii, and now they're telling her, the DNC, is telling her that, oh, no, you don't have the right polling, and so we don't think that...
And you're clearly pro-military.
And you bitch. You are pro-military, so we're going to use polling numbers because there are certain polls we like and certain polls we don't like. We're going to use polling to eliminate you. So that's what they did. And so she's in a little bit of a tete-a-tete currently with the DNC. And did you hear what Lawrence O'Donnell said yesterday?
No.
Oh, this is interesting.
No, he wouldn't make any false claims, right?
Whoa. It's like, did I tell you the story? I didn't tell you the story.
No, but he works for MSNBC. What else could it be?
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean MSDNC?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'm guaranteed something stupid was said.
Okay. So live from MSDNC, here's Rachel Madcow on the left. It's a split screen, and Lawrence O'Donnell is on the right, and he makes kind of an accusation here, just a little bit.
Loans when no one else would loan him any money. And there it is right there in court as one of their main motivators for getting at this information. I may have some information in this next hour which would add a great deal to their understanding of that, if true. and I'll be discussing it here in the beginning of the show. I want to get your reaction to it now because I don't want you to leave the building.
I'm not going to. You now got me. I'm stuck.
Hear about this later because no one knows more about this subject than you do. So I want to get your reaction to what it could mean if true, and I stress if true because this is a single source. Who has told.
Okay, stop. Do you think he's gone over the top in setting this up as A, single source, B, if true?
Oh, he knows it was full of shit.
So, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So,
but he puts it out there because
he's going to put it out there because
people might believe it.
Right, because what do you think this is going to be about? I haven't even told you what this is about yet. I haven't told anybody live on the air what this is about. What do you think this is about?
Russia finance.
Well, let's listen.
I guarantee it.
Oh,
it's not going to be collusion. It's going to be finance. That's going to be the new
tax returns, which they do have of Donald Trump's, show that the president pays very little income tax. That's probably not going to be very surprising to people. Probably not going to be especially politically damaging since he ran saying, I try to pay as little as possible. Then there's the other part, the loan documents. And that is part of what this subpoena is going after. And this single source close to Deutsche Bank has told me that Donald Trump's loan documents there show that he has co-signers. That's how he was able to obtain those loans. And that the co-signers are Russian oligarchs.
Oh my gosh!
My God!
Oh my gosh!
Really?
That would explain, it seems
wow!
to me, every kind word Donald Trump has ever said about Russia and Vladimir Putin, if true. And I stress the if true.
They're uncovering my ass.
That is a scenario that I have never contemplated, let alone like gamed out in detail.
Because it's not fucking true.
Okay, let's stop right there because today, that was yesterday, today, Lawrence O'Donnell does what? Walks it back.
What? He didn't double down?
No, he walks it back, saying I may have said something a little bit out of turn, just a single source.
Tell me he didn't bring up the rigorous screening standards for his network.
God, get out of my head.
No, he didn't.
No,
No, he didn't.
I heard. Listen, before I came here, I was watching either Tucker Carlson or Hannity or Brett Baer, one of those three, and he said, despite the rigorous filtering and sifting by the editors, this somehow, and it's like, AYFKM, are you fucking kidding me? You were spot on, mister. You were spot on. And while we're going here, did you happen to hear about the university psychiatrist who, let's see if I can find this. Here we go. This is on CNN. This is a university psychiatrist who was talking about President Trump's mental health. Listen to what he says.
Right, without saying I'm diagnosing because you've never met the man.
Exactly.
You can describe what you're seeing. So, Dr. Francis, I know you disagree with this view that Dr. Lee and a couple other...
this is this little tubby bald guy on CNN. God, I can't think of his name, nor do I really care.
Dozen psychiatrists have published in this book. You say it's dangerous to be talking this way. Why?
Well, I think that medicalizing politics has three very dire consequences. The first is that it stigmatizes the mentally ill. I've known thousands of patients. Almost all of them have been well-behaved, well-mannered, good people.
Right.
Trump is none of these. Lumping the mentally ill with Trump is a terrible insult to the mentally ill, and they have enough problems and stigma as it is. The second issue is that calling Trump crazy hides the fact that we're crazy for having elected him, and even crazier for allowing his crazy policies to persist. Trump is as...
Okay, if you were this guy and you wanted to double down even greater on Trump, where would you go, Sackheads Clint? If you wanted to be even more stupid, silly, or fattening than this guy, what else other than, well, Trump's clearly a loon, if you're this psychiatrist, on CNN.
I'd say he has a diagnosed mental disorder.
And he's talking to the little tubby bald guy
Yeah,
here.
a diagnosed mental disorder would be my guess.
You wouldn't. Oh, there we go. Alaskan in chat says Seltzer. Brian Seltzer. That's the dude's name. Okay. So where would you go?
I'd say diagnosed medical disorder or a psychological disorder.
Okay. Go up from there. Up. Think bigger.
Bigger?
Think bigger.
Sociopath.
Think oh, jeez.
Psychopath.
You think bigger.
Bigger. Mass murderer.
Okay. Hang on to that just for a second.
Destructive a person in this century as Hitler, Stalin, and Mao were in the last century.
What?
He may be responsible.
Let's play this again.
A person in this century as Hitler, Stalin, and Mao were in the last century.
So hang on a second.
He may be responsible for many more million deaths than they were.
Hang on a second. Time out. Correct me if I'm wrong. This guy is saying that he's worse than all these horrible people in history.
Right.
May be responsible for many more millions of deaths
than Stalin.
Right. Mao. And Hitler.
All combined.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but can't you slander a public figure when the facts or what you're presenting is so egregious?
It'd have to be.
If I were Donald Trump, I would be
of a terrible degree. Yeah, but
calling somebody worse than Hitler, Stalin, and Mao, how is that not such a terrible degree?
I think because of the grand number of insults and the great number of people who say off the wall shit like this every day.
But this is on a news quote unquote.
You wouldn't have enough time. You wouldn't have enough attorneys
for those,
to sue everyone who says that.
I'm not talking about for everyone. I'm talking about somebody who comes on a nationally syndicated news program and says that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the jackass on the street who says stupid shit like that. I'm talking about somebody that goes on a nationally syndicated network.
You could try. Now, there is a difference, I think, because in Britain, I think you could get away with that. Their rules about journalism are different than ours. But for the ability of Trump to successfully go after this guy is just one in a million who are saying such stupid off the wall things like that. It's beyond the pale.
Yeah, it is.
But
and the fact that it's allowed.
But yeah, see, that's
these
the
news
point.
organizations.
Wait, here we go.
That's
my exact point.
Yeah, these news organizations, they are nationally. These are national news. They news quote unquote organizations. Yet their guests are allowed, and nobody stop. I bet that jackass didn't even stop him or ask him to quantify or clarify the statement.
Get out of my head, because here's.
And I'm telling you right now, I haven't seen this story. I don't know. I have not seen the story, but I guarantee you, I would be shocked if he said, well, that's a little far-fetched or that's a little ridiculous, and kind of brought him back to reality. I would be shocked.
Well, I was, like I say, get out of my head, because here were my 2 points. The first one is that this got airtime on CNN in the first place. They're going to put this guy on the air on CNN. Well, it's CNN, yeah. And then number 2, this guy makes this asinine claim in the most ridiculous speculatory fashion possible. And, I mean, I can play the clip further, but you're not going to hear it. And Brian Seltzer Water, whatever the hell his name is, the bald, chubby guy, he doesn't walk this back. He doesn't say anything to that guest at all, period. And just lets it move on. So that's another standard thing. Let's see, what do we got? 5 minutes. I have one more story that I want to do. I think I can do it in 5 minutes. Do you have a story that you would rather do first?
I have a few different stories, but they're a little more serious, and I think that
okay, this one is very serious, and I want to point it out to everybody.
I think a 5-minute story real quick.
Okay.
Omar's affair or alleged affair.
Oh, yeah, let's talk
That's
about
a 5-minute story,
sure
right?
It is. You bet.
Yeah. According to divorce papers filed by, was it her staffer's wife?
Boy, I don't know.
Was it a staffer or a who was this guy?
Well, the guy was still married.
Yeah, for sure. But who was he? He was a staffer, right? He He's a congressional staffer, I believe. I gotta see if I can pull the story up.
I wanted to tell you, but I don't want to Bigfoot your story.
No. Go ahead, please.
No,
please.
I don't have 5 minutes. I don't have the story up right now.
So I think he's a staffer. We might have to correct the record on that, but he's married to a lady who is several years his senior, if I'm not mistaken. But court documents in their divorce showed that this guy supposedly told his wife that he was having an affair with
Ilhan Omar.
Because
why wouldn't you want, as a white guy, why wouldn't you want to have an affair with the chick that absolutely hates white guys. Who is a Muslim, the greatest anti-Semite that you could have in Minnesota, with the exception of all the other anti-Semites that are in Minnesota, like Rashida Tlaib, etc.
Well, so as a direct result of all of this now, the Virginia-based company, the National Legal and Policy Center, they filed an FCC complaint against her, saying that she was using campaign funds.
Oh, an FEC, Federal Election Committee.
Yes, I think I said FCC, an FEC complaint.
You meant FEC.
Saying that she allegedly used campaign funds to illegally reimburse him
with her campaign funds
for traveling expenses.
She's also the one who has numerous, just a litany of anti-Semitic tweets, retorts, speeches under her belt. She's the one that people are, and she is no response, no answer to any of this
He's
stuff.
a Democratic consultant, Tim Minette.
Minette, that's the guy. Okay.
Minette.
Yep.
I thought he was a staffer. He's Democratic consultant.
So, yeah, you hate white guys, so who's the guy that you're going to screw? Now, and funnel some cash to a white guy.
You know what? It actually makes sense, BZ. It actually makes sense. Think about it.
God.
If you want to bring the white man down, what better way than to destroy his family? By fucking a married guy.
Well, sure.
Right?
Because she's not married, except to her brother, but I think they're divorced now.
I don't know. But what better way to bring about the demise of a white man but screw him, cause him to get a divorce, and cause him all kinds of other problems? It's actually quite brilliant on her part if you think about it. And it is actually, looking at it in those terms, it actually makes sense why she would be screwing a white guy.
In both fashions, do you mean?
Yes.
Both ways, I guess?
Yes, she's screwing him in order to screw him.
Yeah. Now, Alaskan in chat, this is interesting. Alaskan in chat says he's a fundraising consultant. And Simone in chat says she's fucking a married guy, just as she is fucking America.
Yeah. See?
Nicely.
It makes perfect sense.
Nicely said.
Very well done.
Played.
Very well played.
In chat, Jay, who is from New Zealand, said, my prime minister, meaning New Zealand, put a hijab on again in the weekend and told the Islamic women to get into our politics. Well, because...
Good luck with that.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib are such sterling examples of where we need to go. Good luck with that.
Hey, if Trump gets reelected, you're more than welcome to come here. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Jack Alexander. I feel so damn sorry for Jack Alexander. Oh no, I gotta take a break. Well,
we're up against the break. We BZ
have to take a break. So we'll be back after the break. I've got another story that has been purposefully buried by what I term the American media maggots. We'll be right back.
I wonder if it's the same story that I have that I didn't send to you this week.
I think this just came out recently.
Yep, 23 hours ago.
This week.
23 hours
We'll
ago.
compare notes when we come back.
All right.
Folks, that's
Let's
Sackheads
do it.
Clint. I'm Sackheads BZ. You're listening to It's a Real Shot Show. The Sackheads. I know. That's so cool. The Sackheads against tyranny.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on SHRmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have entered the second hour of the Sackheads Against Tyranny, the Shat Show. It's a real Shat Show. Yonder is Contrarian Clint. I am BZ. Together, we are the Sackheads Against Tyranny. Wait till you get a load of the story that I'm going to tell you, because I'm going to introduce it with a sentence and then give you the details about all of this. And then I want you guys to tell me from which news agency
or which newspaper or which information agency by any means have you heard this except here on the Shat Show. The summary is this: 5 women in the past month have been raped in Montgomery County, Maryland. That in and of itself, had it been, I don't know, say 5 males, 5 white guys, would have been a story that could easily have been a national story, but it wasn't. So the story, this is an interesting site, the likes of which I wasn't aware until now, called the IllegAlienCrimeReport.com. That's a lengthy name, but I'm going to bookmark it from now on because I'm going to end up going here. It says, Montgomery County, Maryland, unsafe for children. Here's what Maryland is doing. Goody goody. Maryland Sanctuary County Jail released a rapist with an ICE hold. In Montgomery County, Maryland, an illegal immigrant accused of rape was released from a Maryland jail 3 days after being arrested, despite a request from ICE to keep the man in custody. So, he was released. How great is that? Then there's pair of illegal aliens repeatedly raped an 11-year-old girl in Maryland. 2 illegal immigrant men have been arrested for allegedly raping an 11-year-old girl on multiple occasions in Maryland. At least one of the accused men faced an order of removal from ICE. Imagine that. Here's another story. War on women. Maryland is sex trafficking friendly. Illegal alien pimps get released. 3 weeks after Maryland Governor Larry Hogan declared war on human trafficking, 2 men accused of taking part in the illegal sex trade were released from jail despite immigration, ICE, and flight risk and public safety concern. Because why wouldn't you? Here's another story. Sanctuary County illegal alien gang member with violent history shot 2 people at a fast food drive-in because it's Montgomery County, and why wouldn't he? A man and a woman were eating Wendy's late-night food in a vehicle parked along a silent residential street. A person in a hooded sweatshirt appeared at the window, made an odd comment, and opened fire. Assassination style. Here's another story. Illegal alien who killed an FBI agent and a fire marshal gets a $280 fine and no jail time. Where was this? Montgomery County, Maryland. An illegal immigrant who ran down and killed an FBI agent and a fire marshal on the side of a highway has avoided jail. Roberto Garzo Palacios, 28, who arrived in the U.S. and Guatemala and has overstayed his visa, paid a $280 fine for killing these individuals. Here's another story. Illegal alien gang member committed string of armed robberies in a sanctuary county. Montgomery County, Maryland. A 20-year-old woman was sentenced to 95 years in prison for setting up several gang-related armed robberies that took place in Montgomery County. Here's another story. Illegal alien charged with raping and impregnating a 13-year-old disabled girl. Because it's Montgomery County, why wouldn't you? And here's another one. The hits just keep on coming. 72-year-old illegal alien raped impregnated 12-year-old girl in Maryland, Sanctuary County. Montgomery County, Maryland. Here's another one. Illegal alien gang members beat 15-year-old girl with a baseball bat. Because why wouldn't you? Montgomery County, Maryland. Prosecutors in Montgomery County charged a known MS-13 leader for ordering the beating of a 15-year-old girl. There's another story. Illegal alien sexually assaulted woman at a bus stop while she was having a seizure. Because after all, you can take advantage of them a hell of a lot easier than that. Wow, that was in Maryland again.
Montgomery County?
No, this was Germantown.
Oh.
The only difference in any of these. And this is the point where I say something similar to, are you fucking kidding me? But did you hear any of that stuff? No.
Yeah, just now on SHR.
Yeah, just now.
On the Shat Show.
On the Shat Show.
Yep. Where we talk about shat like that.
Yeah. Now, you have kind of an interesting international story that I had not heard. My guess was you hadn't heard that story.
I had not heard
now
that.
I have not heard your story.
We actually did compare notes on the break like we said we were going to.
Yeah, well,
and I thought for sure it was going to be the same story. But photos, satellite photos, show that North Korea may be building a submarine capable of launching a nuclear missile. So on this photograph, they have a submersible launch platform. Which, why would you need a submersed launch platform?
Right.
To launch something from under the water, unless they're going to build a bunch of sea silos, I guess, so that way you can't see them from the satellite. Sea silos.
Sea silos.
That's an interesting thought.
You didn't
right?
think.
I did not think about that.
I see what you did there. You didn't think about that until just right this very second.
That's true.
It is.
So
I saw the look on your head. You went bing.
Right. Because look, if I were a rogue regime and I wanted to build nuclear launch facilities and keep them hidden from satellite view, I don't know. I wouldn't build a nuclear sub. I would build completely submersed sea silos in the ocean floor.
Sea silos.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
So it's possible. So look, all the news is reporting that he may be building a nuclear sub because of the crane and the submersible launch platform. However, I am going to pontificate. I'm going to extrapolate out, and I'm going to think logically, and I'm going to say it's possible he's looking to put this shit underwater so that way when our satellites fly over, we have no idea they're there. What do you think of that?
That is a really interesting point. And just like you, because we discussed this during the break, and we discovered that our stories were dissimilar. But I hadn't heard your story, and I still enjoyed seeing you come to the realization that it could be something else too. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Okay,
it could be, right? But that's how shit gets solved.
It is,
right?
That's
how puzzles get solved.
That's how you came to the conclusion, and we talked about this for almost an hour and a half, at least a month, maybe 2 months ago, where you said, does Trump want to do something brilliant? He runs third party.
Yes. Yeah.
That was damn brilliant.
Yeah, well, especially now this jackass Republican is in the fucking primary. What a dumbass. Anyways, so it's possible they're building a submarine, I guess, because they are testing, it seems, they have the ability to test a submersed rocket. And so what would you need to test a submersed rocket for? You need to make sure, like you said, right, to push that thing to the surface.
Right, it's
in the air bubble.
It's compressed air that gets
right,
it out of the tube,
yep,
and then it lights up when it's in the atmosphere.
When it's in the atmosphere. And so you're only going to do that one of two ways. One is from a submarine, which is what the big speculation is. Number two is a launch facility in the seabed. And I don't know if
they
that's
can do
possible
that.
or not. I don't.
They would have to be. I don't know. I would guess they'd have to be static, but it would certainly.
They would, but
it'd be unique.
It would, and your satellites are not going to see that.
No, that's true.
Correct. Now, and the technology is obviously there, right? Because if you can open the hatch on a submarine to launch a missile, why could you not build something in the seabed, depending on depth and so forth, and open the same hatch? You're still going to have the problem with water. All right, and then launch. Anyways, I want to talk about how much time do we have? I want to talk about
at least 15 minutes.
I want to talk about the G7 summit.
Okay, all right.
And the reason I want to talk about the G7, look, there are a lot of things happening internationally, and Trump had a freaking brilliant G7 summit.
I thought I had somewhere around here that I had a story about that.
He had a brilliant G7. So what happened this week? We had kind of a trade war with China, right? They imposed tariffs on us. Trump basically didn't back down and came out and said, that's fine. I'm ordering our American companies not to do business with you, and we're going to bring all of our stuff back home. And, and basically, F you to China. I think he had the complete opposite reaction that China expected. I think China expected the big, oh shit, oh my God, oh wow, what are we gonna do? And Trump gave him the big middle finger and said, you need us more than we need you, and we're just gonna bring our shit home and good luck to you. And within a couple days, what happened?
Amazing.
What happened?
Are you trying to hint that? Are you trying to say that perhaps they decided to come around a little bit? Is that what you're trying to? Are you hinting at that?
I'm not hinting at it. I'm coming right out and saying it. China basically came out and said, "Yeah, we want to talk. We want to talk." And the left, even some on the right, went nuts when Trump basically challenged China, took him to task. Said, "Yeah, great, you have tariffs on us." The markets plunged, but the Asian markets plunged worse.
Well, here's the other thing that I already mentioned. A week and a half ago, the market plunged 800 points in one day. Mm-hmm. The next day, it went up 300 points. It's been on a roller coaster. But let me ask you this question. Do you have 2.5 minutes for a great audio cut from Gordon Chang? Do you know who Gordon Chang is?
That name sounds familiar.
Gordon Chang is a like a think tank guy. Oh. And by the name of Chang, he's a clear, well-respected, very highly knowledgeable insider in terms of how China functions.
Yes.
And how it operates. And he knows all about the economy. He knows about its past, history, future. And when I hear him on Tucker or I hear him on Laura Ingraham, I listen to this guy because he's a scholar, well-trained, well-educated, and I'd like to play this. It's about 2.5 minutes long. It's on the Laura Ingraham show.
Is it in line with what we're talking about?
Yes,
I want to get to the G7. I'm kind of using China as a way to get to the G7.
Okay, I'd like to play this, and then I think this will dovetail perfectly into your G7.
If it doesn't, BZ,
then
I'm not going to do anything about it because it's too late. It's already played.
You'll just beat the hell out of me later, off air,
with a phone book, and a fire hose.
Right, it'll be off air. So tomorrow on my show, if I'm all purpled up and whatnot with like Band-Aids all over my face, folks, I'm just telling you in advance. Okay, here, let me turn this on, folks. I'm telling you in advance. If I come to the show tomorrow all wrapped up in gauze, and my face is all purple and swollen, and there's Band-Aids all over my face.
Then clearly you pissed your wife off again.
Then clearly...
you pissed Mrs. Zeppelin off again.
I pissed off Sackhead's Clint.
No. You pissed off Mrs. Zeppelin.
So just saying. But basically what this is Gordon Chang talking to Laura Ingraham, who's saying that he believes that it is important for Trump to be hard on China, and that we're going to take a little stress at the beginning, but he's doing something that no one else before has dared to do.
Joining me now to
analyze
is Gordon Chang, columnist and author of the book, The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon,
that's called a hint.
Where do you see this going? You and I have talked about this idea that it's crazy for us to trade with China at all, given their strategic ambitions to push us out as the world's dominant military and economic power. The president actually seemed to even float that concept today. The markets are pretty jittery the last couple of days. But where do things stand now?
Well, things stand now at a point where the Chinese are not talking to us. It was really interesting. At the Osaka G20, President Trump and Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, negotiated an interim deal that actually was very favorable for China. It gave them a critical concession on Huawei, and the Chinese agreed to buy more ag products, which they have to do anyway from somebody.
Oh, that's another.
Xi Jinping couldn't even honor that, Laura. And I think that it says that in Beijing right now, there is political paralysis. Something is really wrong. And, you can't negotiate with the Chinese right now. So I think President Trump is absolutely right. If these guys don't want to talk to us in good faith, well, we'll just go on without them. And, that's really where we need to be, to disengage, boycott.
Well, and China apparently, according to Fox News, has some sources report coming out that China says it looks like it's moving toward an effort to decouple from the United States. But how realistic is that, Gordon, when you have Germany's economy essentially flat, France is in all this turmoil, the yellow vest, Brexit still not determined, a lot of tumult in Britain. I mean, there's no other economy that's really strong in the world right now of the big countries other than the United States. So how does China decouple? Is that just kind of a tit-for-tat thing?
Yeah, well, China can't really decouple. I mean, last year, China's merchandise surplus with the U.S. accounted for 119.3% of its overall merchandise surplus. That is incredible dependence on the U.S. We have an economy, Laura, that is not export dependent, certainly not dependent on China, but China has an economy dependent on us. That means we've got a lot of leverage. You had a lot of smart people in the U.S. saying, oh, China and the U.S. can't decouple. Well, one thing we've seen this year is that China's becoming much less of a factor for us.
Yeah, Gordon, thank you so much. Great to see you as always.
And so how did we get here? We got here because of OMB. No other president has taken it upon themselves to point the finger at China, this massive beast that everyone lived in fear of, that Gordon Chang is essentially saying, no, it's not that big a beast. And his book was saying why China is going to fail. And by the way, people in China is specifically targeting things that folks in the Midwest, folks on the right, would be up in arms over. They refused corn. Oh, wait. Just yesterday, the Japanese chimed in and said, all that corn from the Midwest that you were going to sell to China, we'll take it.
Yeah, so a lot of positive things came out of the G7 summit. And people, the big thing from Jim Acosta, what a piece of garbage. He said, well, Trump really wouldn't get pinned down on climate change. That's his takeaway from the G7.
Yeah.
Not the fact that, like you said, Japan is going to be huge in agriculture.
We got
Britain. We got Britain after Brexit, a major trade deal. There's discussion with Germany about car tariffs, right? But I think in getting back to China, so there are a lot of positives coming out of the G7, and Trump is a big part of that. But I want to talk about what President Trump said about China. He said, quote, China wants to make a deal. And I tell this to President Xi, who I really respect. I told him very strongly, I said, look, you're making $500 billion a year and stealing our intellectual property. We can't make a 50-50 deal. If it's not better, I don't want to do business. Think about that. To the world, President Donald Trump said, we cannot make a 50-50 deal. If it's not better, I basically want nothing to do with you. Which means 50-50 is no longer good enough. Think about that.
Okay.
Who else has had the testicular fortitude to tell China, or anybody for that matter, because most people are going to say, yeah, 50-50 is fair. That's mutually beneficial. That's fair. Trump's saying, yeah, I don't want 50-50. I want a better deal than that. I don't know whether that's 60-40, 70-30. I don't know what's in President Trump's mind. But who says that? And means it, because that's one thing. Donald Trump pretty much says what he means, and is bringing China, hopefully, it seems, to the table. They're feeling the pressure on this. And how did the markets react the following day? People were up in arms. Oh my God, the economy's going to crush. President Trump is not going to get reelected if the economy Oh wait, it was because of the whole China tariffs thing, and now that they actually want a deal, the markets are,
Imagine that. Let me throw this out at you, Sackheads Clint. I tweeted about this, I don't know, maybe a couple of days ago. And I said, and I'm trying to find the thing in here in YouTube, and because of the nature of YouTube, I'm going to have a hell of a time trying to find it. I should have gone to Grabian and just paid for a subscription to Grabian. Mm-hmm. But having said that, Trump is the consummate businessman. He's said a number of times, and he said in the G7, that he's not a politician, nor does he really want to. Mm-hmm. And so
he's a businessman.
He's a businessman. When a lot of people say that, Trump is a constant liar, and he's a constant, he'll inflate everything and conflate things together. no, I think I finally sussed out Trump. It really is about the art of the deal. And he is not much of a politician. I will be the first to agree to that. But he's doing things
But I
like that. And he's doing things. He'll say something to one person one day. Did you notice this? And this is what people go crazy over. He'll say one thing about Xi one day. He's the terrible guy. The next day he said about Xi, and my good friend Xi right here. He's working you. He's working him. He's working Macron. He's working the Iranians.
Of course
he's working the American media maggots. He's working everybody to try to get the deal done. He's working all of these people. He'll say one thing one day,
and they're playing right along with it,
and try to say something, an entirely different thing another day. I think all he really gives a fuck about is, I am a results-oriented guy. I want to know what I can finally get. I think
there's more than that.
Starting to get that. Yeah,
there
is more.
I think there's a little bit more to that, and I think what he cares about. I think he wants that. He is results-oriented.
Yes,
but I think he genuinely cares about the country.
I
really do. I think he genuinely 100% cares about America.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
When he says, or he's talking in any speech, and with the picture of him hugging the flag, I really think he loves this country.
Absolutely.
Terribly. He loves it massively. And he really is trying to do whatever it is that he can that has never been done before. Tariffs have never been done before against China. They're stealing us blind. In 1995, Clinton gave technology to China.
Yes. Illegally,
I believe, that allowed China to increase their rockets, their missile programs, and expand their atomic programs. They didn't need us to help. China's goal here is to steal us fucking blind.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. We're allowing it to be done. Because no one wanted to confront China.
We were. I don't think we're allowing them anymore. China, as a matter of fact, on Monday came out and said that they want, quote unquote, calm. They want to end the trade war. They want to see a calm end to it. And China's currency hit an 11-year low as a result. Folks, that's Donald Trump that did that.
You didn't hear about that, though, did you?
Of course not.
You didn't hear about that
of course
last
not.
night, or the night before, or the night before, or over the weekend. Why would you? Because the goal of the American media maggots is to make sure that there isn't one positive thing said about Trump.
If it's one thing I've learned, because people did freak out, and people on the right also freaked out when Trump was harsh on China. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you can't say that. You can't say that about China, the biggest military in the world. Who says that? I even heard Michael Savage go off on that. I was like, oh my gosh. But nobody's done that before. And like you said, look at the results you're getting. What's the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
Doing the same thing over and over again
and
expecting a different result, right?
So I've been historically listening to Gordon Chang for quite some time, and I listen very, very carefully to him these days when he weighs in on China, particularly with regard to what President Trump is doing on China. And I still can't find that G7 cut that I'll tell you what. The weird thing is, I
got one more story.
Okay, all right.
One more story. And it'll literally be like a 30-second
story.
Okay, go. I love Hasbro.
Okay.
Do you know why I love Hasbro?
No, I don't know why.
Do you know they came out with a new board game?
No.
It's Monopoly the Socialism Edition. This is a true story.
Really?
Instead of passing go and collecting $200,
then have I got a great story for you when we come back.
You get a $50 living wage.
Okay, new socialism edition. There it is. Okay, yeah. I see it. All right. Fabulous. Speaking of socialism, that's a beautiful transition. Beautiful segue. We're going to go to a break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you all about socialism and how great it is and how much we need it here in the United States, because this is what Venezuela is doing, and this is what ought to be done here. Maybe to our leftists, maybe to the Democrats, and maybe to the American media maggots themselves. God, PZ, what the hell are you talking about?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes the show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com, go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday, live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. Just as Sackheads Clint said over the break, he looked up from his headphones And he said a couple of things. One of them was, holy crap, where did the time go? We're in the final 25 minutes of a 2-hour Shat Fest. Right here on the SHR Media Network. Thanks to everybody in chat. Thanks to Jay from New Zealand, Simone, Mike the Alaskan, somebody shat themselves, and Mamba. Welcome. Oh, and one viewer who will not be unmasked because that's not what we do here in the Shat Show. I kind of prompted this. I said, hey, I've got kind of an interesting article. And perhaps it's something that needs to be done for the leftists and everybody that thinks that socialism is so great. Because here's the newest shindig in Venezuela. Hey, this is great. This is socialism. This is what you want here. So let's embrace Venezuela. This is, of all places that I found this, CNN Business. The headline is Venezuela's new decree. Forced farm work for citizens. Yay! A new decree by Venezuela's government could make its citizens work on farms to tackle the country's severe food shortages. Yay, socialism. So, all you little pudgy, overweight boys and girls from Antifa and the left, etc., that are complaining that your iPhone doesn't work as swiftly as it could, and you want a new iPhone 38, hey, get your ass off the count and start hoeing fields for potatoes, because that's the socialism that's coming for you. I love that. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful. That is something to look forward to, don't you think?
Name one country where socialism has worked.
Name a country where socialism has existed where it hasn't killed a lot of people? Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. See, here's the deal.
Sweden? What are they? Is it Sweden? Are the Swedes quasi-socialist?
You used to be able to kind of say that with Sweden, Denmark, a little bit of the Netherlands, countries of that ilk. And if you actually begin to examine them, they're not true socialist countries. But I would submit this to everybody, and I want to throw this out and look at the bigger overarching umbrella in terms of history. How is it that Europe, and let's even point at those countries, but I want to include the bulk of Europe in this as well. After the Marshall Plan in World War II, how is it that Europe was able to do all these wonderful things that allegedly, with fingers pointing at the United States of America, that we weren't able to do? Well, let's see. None of these countries were spending billions historically every year. Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars on the defense of Europe. That wasn't occurring. Most of these countries really didn't have to spend more than $1.95 for their own defense. A number of these countries still have American soldiers ensconced within them. Amazing how that happens. So, once again, the American taxpayer took it on the chin and paid, essentially, for these countries who were croaking all about how socialist they are and how better they are than the United States of America. Oh, that's right. You happen to do that on the backs of the American taxpayer because we pay that. We've funded NATO for years, and it's only this president, as a matter of fact, who has pointed out, and rightly so, historically so, that NATO members have not been paying their fair share for literally decades. You can't say that. You can't even remotely hint that that's happening. And now the things are coming home to roost. China is not the powerhouse that... Oh, let me ask you, Sackheads Clint, let me ask you this question. Yes. Because I know how leftists would answer, but I want to ask you this question. In terms of the greatest threat to the United States, is it Russia or China?
It's China.
Yes, absolutely.
Or the supervolcano under Yellowstone, but that's a whole different story.
Oh boy, have we got a story for that. We were going to do a 4-hour SHR Media special report about the volcano.
Super
volcano underneath our feet. But we decided that 4 hours is a little long, and we weren't going to do that.
A lot of science involved.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would get boring and whatnot, especially after the first 4 hours, because we initially wanted to make it 8 hours.
Yes. Yeah, we did. We want to see if we could do a full day on
a full day on the super volcano.
Right.
Under
how many times in the last 2-point-something million years has it erupted? How many times? Does anybody know? Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
3 times.
Has it really?
3 times in the last 2.1, I think. But
were those extinctive events? Did they wipe out every fucking thing?
Look, the dinosaurs stopped existing, so I'm not saying the two are related, but you do the math. The last time...
I don't know. I could have sworn, and correct me in chat if I'm wrong. Mamba says no unmasking. Okay, so I'm not going to unmask people. Didn't the dinosaur extincting event... see what I did there? I made up a new word.
The dinosaur extinctifying event.
Instinctification
yes.
event.
Uh-huh.
Wasn't that a big chunk of rock?
We don't know. How the fuck do we know?
That plunged into the Gulf of Mexico?
No idea.
And it sent up a massive cone of excreta.
Silence?
A massive cone of excreta into the atmo and just killed all the dinosaurs.
I don't know.
Killed them dead.
Dead. They think it was a meteor, but how do they know?
I don't know.
They don't know. Why
don't they just look at the cameras?
650,000 years ago was the last time it erupted. The supervolcano in Rio. So we're due.
Why didn't they look at the cameras for that too?
Right?
They should have.
God. Or the satellite photos.
I know some of the scientists around here really puzzle me.
They don't know what they're doing.
I'm thinking that they don't know what they're doing. Do you have another story? Because
I do.
I got a million.
Do you know San Francisco no longer has a crime problem?
No.
Do you know why?
How does it start?
Do you know why?
Does it? San Francisco no longer has a crime problem. Does it start like that?
Close. Last month, the Board of Supervisors in the city of San Francisco decided that there was going to be no more term convicted felons used in San Francisco.
Oh, that'll stop everything.
Yeah, because look, San Francisco has no convicted felons. There are no convicted felons within San Francisco. They are justice-involved individuals. You can't make this shit up.
Why?
You can't make this up,
PZ. No. Why didn't I think of that? Hell, for that matter, why didn't you think of that?
I don't know. So whether it's a felony or somebody who commits a traffic violation or a parking ticket or a rapist, they're all justice-involved individuals. Now, if you think about it, it actually makes sense, right? Because the term ex-con or ex-felon,
harsh.
Not only very harsh, but very judgy, right? It's almost biblical.
Harsh and biblically judgmental.
It's almost biblical to call them justice-involved individuals. And here's why. Because if you're a justice-involved individual for a parking ticket, which is a crime, it's a sin.
But it's
a sin. It's a sin. And if you're a justice-involved individuals because you raped 6 nuns and 4 students, it's also a sin. Is one sin, unless you're Catholic, is one sin really greater than another?
Well, listen, couldn't you just have been having a bad day at that time?
Why are we not all justice involved? So there is biblical context, perhaps, to this move.
We should be kinder.
So is San Francisco moving towards a more religious perspective now? How was that logic? Did you follow that?
I love the hell out of that. I think that's great.
They're going to change all their shit now. Oh, God damn. That's a biblical principle.
Maybe somebody from San Francisco is listening right now.
And now they're just freaking out. They're like, oh, my God.
What have we done?
What have we done? We didn't even think we were doing it, but God does exist.
That's right. Oh, no, we're going to have to think seriously about this. What really have we done? New guidelines approved by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors mean the elimination from the criminal justice system words like felons, convict, and even juvenile delinquent. The idea of the non-binding resolution is to label any offender who is released as a formerly incarcerated person, as you say, a justice-involved individual, or perhaps just a returning resident.
Hang on, my favorite. In San Francisco, there is no longer There are no longer any juvenile delinquents.
Oh, really? What are they?
You cannot say juvenile. They are young people impacted by the juvenile justice system. Wow. So be it some kid whose family member goes to prison, or a kid who was picked up by law enforcement because they were out late and driven home, or perhaps a child who was helped by a nice police officer.
Yeah.
Is the same as a child who raped a bunch of nuns and other school children, and they're all impacted by the juvenile justice system.
I don't know.
It doesn't say whether they were positively or negatively impacted. They're just impacted, BZ.
See, I think we need to realize that everyone just has a bad day. Hey, can't people have a bad day every now and then?
Hey, BZ.
Please.
You need to check your white privilege right now, okay? Because you are clearly not woke on this.
But the babies are woke.
Some of them are.
Some of the babies
are woke.
Okay.
But you're not woke.
Oh, damn it.
And the fact that you're making fun of this story clearly shows why you belong on the Shat Show.
Yeah.
I was going to say clearly why you belong here.
Here's what I think a drug addict should be called.
Yes.
Don't you think they should be called a person?
A pincushion.
Yeah, that's a porcupine.
Yeah.
Don't you think they should be called a person with a history of substance use?
No. No, that's still harsh
you know what?
and judgy.
San Francisco decided that they were going to adopt that phrase.
Really?
As well.
See, I like the term individual who is a creative medication user.
Oh, a CMU. Right.
Yes. A creative medication, because it could be somebody who takes an Excedrin for a headache.
Listen.
Or somebody who shoots up a bunch of heroin and hides meth in their ass.
See, here's a perfect example. I think this supervisor got it right. There's a San Francisco supervisor named Matt Haney who said, and this is a brilliant quote, he said, "We don't want people to be forever labeled as the worst things that they have ever done." That did that guy not nail it, Sackheads Clint? Is that not correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They shouldn't be labeled. Oh, come on, labeled.
Yeah, you can't label somebody.
Label, come on.
So if you're labeled a Trump supporter, is that bad? Why are you labeled?
Well, no, that's okay.
Oh, it is.
That's okay.
It is.
Yeah.
You're a fascist. That's okay. They can label people fascist.
Wait, are you calling
No.
I want to know if you're calling me a fascist.
No, I would never label you. But I'm saying if like a member of Antifa looked at you and you saw that hat and called you fascist, they're labeling you. Is that bad? I'm pretty sure this woke county supervisor would think that was okay, right?
I think that'd be okay.
If when you were still in uniform, if that county supervisor called you a pig, would that have been okay? If they labeled you a donut eating pig, would that have been okay?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
If they labeled you a honky cracker, would that have been okay?
I think that'd be okay.
That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Or like Alaskan says, deplorables. That'd be okay. Wouldn't that be okay?
Yep. That's okay. Absolutely.
Okay. By the way, San Francisco, this is
a shithole.
This is an accomplishment. I'm looking at an article that won't let me look at it.
It just fell off into the ocean.
San Francisco is the area where drug addicts outnumber high school students. That is an accomplishment. Don't you think that
San
is?
Francisco. Hey. Way to go. San Francisco, the city that gave us Gavin Newsom. So, California voters, fucking great job.
Oh, yeah.
Keep up the good work. Wow. California is woke as fuck.
Oh.
WAF.
WAF. W-A-F.
It is woke as fuck. And, wow, just keep going.
That's right. It's a hell of an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
What an accomplishment for San Francisco.
Yeah.
Wow. See, the audience loves that.
Do you think the politicians know that they are part of the establishment that their far left groups are trying to overthrow?
I wonder if the
politicians... Do you
politicians...
think they know that?
I wonder if they're... their mental fecundity, see what I did there, is actually to the point where they are cognizant of the fact that everyone in every other state is laughing their ass off up at these ridiculous fucks.
No, I think they're woke. But do you think they realize that Antifa would fucking toss their asses out just as easily as they would anybody else? They're just a means to the end. Do you think they realize that? Because they're still part of the representative government. They're still part of the elected officials. They're still part of the man. Do you think they realize that? I don't think they do.
No.
They're part of a system that Antifa and their other far left group want to overthrow.
In truth, when you digest it just a little bit, you're correct.
No, I'm 100% correct.
You are correct.
Absolutely. Do you think they realize that? I don't think they do. I think they believe they're going to be part of the power structure.
Go look at Alaskans' comment in chat. I got to read this. Okay, so Alaskan in chat said, if San Francisco dropped into the ocean, would it make a shit raft 100 miles long?
It would, as a matter of fact.
The answer is
yes.
Quite probably.
Yeah. Yes. How much hazardous waste would San Francisco would single-handedly pollute our oceans for how long?
Oh, God. Millennia. There's a new poll. This might be like the second to last story we can cover tonight. There's a new poll that says that there's kind of what they call a disturbing trend about millennials over the ideals that America has. And basically they're saying that they're asking, can America come back? We have held in the United States and many other countries as well, it's not just us, that God, family, and country are important.
Mm-hmm.
Now the millennials, according to a poll, are saying that those are the things that are specifically unimportant. There was a study conducted by NBC News and Wall Street Journal, started over 2 decades ago, asking Americans what values they hold most dear. Now, at the time when it was first begun, the journal noted that things like principles of hard work, patriotism, commitment to religion, the goal of having children was all high on the list. And after the new polls being taken from millennials, no. Compared to scores from 1998, as for their ranking among very important components of good living, religion dropped a whopping 12%. Having children suffered a startling 16% plummet, and patriotism took a plunge of 9%. And so among people 55 and older, for example, however, nearly 80% said patriotism was very important, compared with 42% of those ages 18 to 38, the millennial generation and the older members of Gen Z.
Think about this for a moment, BZ.
This is what's the word I'm looking for? Phrase. This is a paradigm shift for the country of startling / and I'll throw it in there because you will see what I just did there, biblical proportions.
I do see what you did there. Here's what struck me when I saw that story. If 42%, I think that's the number you gave out, right? If 42% of millennials or people age 18 to 35,
18 to 38
believe that patriotism is important, only 42%.
Yeah, less than half.
And think about that once they start having children and teaching their children what values they want to instill and so forth, and continue that down the line. Within one generation, I'll say 2 more generations. Within 2 more generations, think about what our United States military will be.
God, there was a story, and I wish I could find the attribution.
We are a volunteer. We have a volunteer force. You don't have to go into military service unless there's a draft, obviously, something of that nature. But we have a volunteer fighting force, and if patriotism is not important, and less than 50% of the generation coming up believes that, are they going to join the military? No. If we need people to join the military because, God forbid, another major conflict breaks out where we need a major military force to protect ourselves, we're not going to have it. And you look at the draft dodgers and what people did in during the Vietnam War, and how many just said fuck you and refused to go, and the things that happened during that time. And our country could be in serious problem. So when I read that, I actually looked down the line 1 or 2 generations, and I thought, holy shit, that could literally spell a major disaster for our country in terms of our ability to survive as a nation.
Could I play an audio cut for you right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Once you hear this, you'll know who it is, and you'll know the truth ensconced within.
Our founding fathers here in this country brought about the only true revolution that has ever taken place in man's history. Every other revolution simply exchanged one set of rulers for another set of rulers. But only here did that little band of men so advance beyond their time that the world has never seen their like since, evolve the idea that you and I have within ourselves the God-given right and the ability to determine our own destiny. But freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
Yes.
We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free. Thank you.
He said, Ronald Reagan said that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction.
And this
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Correct then, correct now, correct in the future. Let me submit something to you because I don't know a lot of parents, and I don't know if you're going to answer truthfully or honestly.
Depends on the question. And I'll tell you I'll tell you whether if I'm not going to answer honestly, I won't answer the question.
Okay.
How's that? Is that fair?
Yeah, let me tell you tell you what I suspect is true about you. You are the atypical parent these days. You are teaching your kids about history. You're teaching them about the value of honesty, about the values of hard work, truth, morals, ethics, mores, and it's backed with facts and not emotions, and you are equipping your kids to be individuals not linked to you when the time is right and they can go out and explore on their own. I know that about you. Having known that, I would proffer you are the atypical parent today, because otherwise, how the fuck would we get here with millennials thinking these things? Your response?
I think that's accurate. I think that I know several parents, and what's important to them, and I'll use like what's important in a school, right? People, they live in a new subdivision, new houses, new schools are there. And they look at a school district in, say, California, and they say, oh, it's a nice school. This is a nice school district. Test scores are up, and I want my kids to go to school right around the corner from the house because it's convenient. They're going with their friends. Their kids go to school.
Right.
And with parents working, it's difficult to pay attention to exactly what your kids are doing in school, and you don't really know what it is they're getting in the classroom.
You hope you know.
You hope you know, but you really don't know. And I can tell you right now that I absolutely love the school my kids go to, and I'm very involved in their curriculum. And this school actually, very much you have to be involved as a parent to be able to have your child be successful there. And they do not teach the Common Core. They set a little bit of time aside every year for state testing because they still need to get some of those funds, but a lot of parents opt out of that and everything else. But the point is, people today, particularly parents, and I think within that age range is accurate, but even parents I know that are a little bit older, they don't really know or understand what is and is not being taught in school.
So they're They're making too many assumptions, do you think?
I think they're making assumptions, or they're trusting in the education system. How many people know that the California State Department of Education just approved curriculum for gender studies to be taught in kindergarten classes?
That's the story that I'm going to have. It reminds me of a story for next week. Okay.
How many people know that? Nobody knows that because people don't pay attention. The media doesn't report it, and the people that do pay attention are pissed off. They make a little bit of noise, and then it goes away. We have, it's schools are convenient. It's a good neighborhood, so we'll send the kids to school there, or it's not, and that's the only option. Whatever it is,
school looks good. The lawn is mowed.
I'm in a Bigfoot. So I'm actually working on a piece of legislation.
Really?
I am.
Really?
I am, and I will talk to you about it. But I'm actually working on a piece of legislation that I want to bring to my representative in the House of Representatives, and to try and push through.
Wow. Okay.
But education is something that's very, very important to me, and I think that parents we have children that are coming up because parents don't understand what it is their kids are learning. Case in point, I know. That there was a high school student that I know very well, very dear friend of the family's, and the history book in an advanced placement honors United States history class, the book was Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States.
Now,
and their parents
I know about Howard Zinn.
How many people know Howard Zinn or what that book is really about?
I would
the
say...
only thing I think they know about is in Good Will Hunting when Matt Damon's character says, now, A People's History of the United States, Howard Zinn, now that's a book that'll knock your fucking socks off. Or he says something of that nature. Other than that, I don't think they understand what that book's about. But that is a history book in a United States history class where the teacher said the only thing you need to know about George Washington is he wasn't very smart, and the only thing you need to know about John Adams is the Alien Sedition Acts. Now we're going to move on to the real presidents, and they spent a lot of time on Woodrow Wilson.
Of course, because why wouldn't they? He was a progressive, air quotes.
So
progressive.
The way I combated that is I got this student a copy of A Patriot's History of the United States. Of course. So
can you stop here just for a second? We've gone into overtime,
Sure.
and I don't mind because I really want to hear this. So, folks, I just want to remind you.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we are definitely into overtime. Clint has indicated that he's going to craft a bill for a submission to his representative.
I'm not ready to talk about what that is right now.
Okay, but you're working.
I am. I am 100% working on it.
Can you say anything about a time frame when you think it may be ready?
I don't know. So I'm working on it. I have an outline. I know exactly what I want it to say, but I don't know the format it needs to be submitted in, and that's what I'm working with the office about, if that makes sense.
Do you want it? Well, I guess you would have to have it through your specific representative.
Well, yeah, that's the route I'm going.
Okay.
Okay. So
you're talking state, not federal.
No,
correct?
I'm talking federal.
Oh, you're talking.
I'm absolutely talking
you're going
federal.
up.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
All right. Didn't know that. I thought you were talking about just the state of California.
No, there's no fucking way this bill would make it through the state of California.
All right. Now I get it.
But here's the thing. I think it actually has a shot of succeeding. I really do. I think it has a shot of succeeding.
Okay.
So we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah.
Just a brief question before we do go. How long do you think it might be before you're willing to talk about some substance? A couple of months, maybe?
Yeah, I think that'd be fair. I think 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, so if I put a little tickler file in my brain housing group right here and say, okay, October, November.
Yeah.
Remind Clint, and we'll see how he's doing on that.
Yeah, I think I'd be able to. I think I would be able to give some substance.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
And talk about where this came from, why this is important to me, why this is getting pushed forward. So I think that the reason we're seeing this is schools aren't encouraging patriotism anymore.
Oh,
right?
No, I would completely concur with that.
You don't have to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. America is not exceptional. You don't have the core values of what America is or what it's about.
Trash can. Come on.
Do you even study World War II really anymore? The American Revolution. What they learn about our founders is they were racist rich white guys, and that's bad. As opposed to, hey, here's where their ideals. Were they perfect? No. Here were their struggles because they were human beings. Did we struggle with the issue of slavery? Of course we did. The founders struggled with the issue of slavery. Were there founding fathers like George Mason who hated slavery and fought against it at the very founding of our country? Of course there were.
Yeah, and who teaches him? No one.
No one. No one. So, I as a parent, I go out and there are books. The National Center for Constitutional Studies is a huge resource where there are workbooks that you can get for your kids and everything else. A lot of Socratic method and learning about American exceptionalism. I think that's the problem. And I don't think it's necessary evil. I don't think it's evil on the part of the parents. I don't think they set out to create a generation or for their kids not to have an appreciation for their country.
It's abject ignorance. I really do.
It really is. It really is. That, and you know what? And I don't wish this on this country at all, so please don't take this out of context. We have not had to suffer.
Oh, we haven't had to suffer since World War II. There was no real suffering in Vietnam. You could say there was. There was no real suffering in Korea, but there was not global suffering, which impacted massively the United States.
We didn't have
since then.
We didn't have a Great Depression. We didn't see how capitalism pulled us out of it. As a matter of fact, schools don't even study how FDR's New Deal prolonged the negative economy that we were in, and that really we came out of it because of the war. They don't learn those things. And
that's okay. Bush didn't learn that either.
He didn't. He didn't. But I think there's this whole dynamic where kids don't get the substance at school, and the kids don't get the substance at home. And what kids are getting in
for two entirely separate reasons.
For two entirely separate reasons. But the fact is they're not getting the substance.
No. And that's the bottom line.
That is 100% the bottom line. So can I see that we lose? It's sad, but I can see this country failing. I don't want it to fail. I think it's salvageable. I think Donald Trump is a great start to that, but you can see how the left has responded, and unless we make a change in our education system, and I don't want to sound like I'm on a soapbox lecturing, but really I think it comes down to the parents really taking an active role and finding out what it is the kids are actually learning in school. And I don't care whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, big L, little l, it doesn't matter. I think that in a lot of cases, if parents are really paying attention to what their kids are, or better yet, what they are not learning,
right,
is huge. And as a parent, in my opinion, again, I don't want it to sound like I'm lecturing, this is just my perspective, I take my role as a parent and my kids' education very, very seriously. It is not the school's job to educate my kids. It is my job.
Well, see, that's why I always want to talk to you about these issues, specifically because as an outside observer, everybody knows I'm not a parent. I don't have any kids. So that's why I value your perspective and what you are seeing. You're a parent and you're watching your kids and you're watching their schooling. And I know that you monitor all of that very closely.
I do very, very closely. And I think that as a parent, we have, look, the most important job that a parent can do is parent.
They can't be friends.
No.
Too many parents want to be friends.
You can't be friends. But as a parent, you care about your child, you care about their future, and what is it you want for them? And every parent has to answer that individually. Do you want them to grow up and make a difference in society? Or do you want them to go about and do X, Y, or Z, whatever it is? But I think paying attention, and I think conservative families are just as guilty of that because both parents are working, or it's a single parent situation, or everybody's tired after work, and kids are doing homework. I get it. Life happens. But paying attention to what the kids are not getting is so important, because you may be instilling values if let's say religion, you may be saying your prayers at dinner time, but if that's all they're getting, are they getting anything else? You're spending maybe a couple hours with them. They're in school for how often? And then doing homework. Are you looking at their homework, seeing what the assignments are? Hey, why aren't you studying this? And really kind of starting to take a look. It's hard work. It really is.
See, and that is exactly why I said, and by the way, since I said it at 9:58, and now it's 10:12. And I kind of expected this, but that's why I said to you that I perceive you as the atypical parent today, because I hear all these stories. We talk before the show, in the middle of the show, we talk after the show, and you talk about your kids and all the stuff. So I know this is what is inherent within you. I know that's your side of being a parent. And then I hear all of these things that are going on around me and other persons, and I say to myself, Clint, he's not typical. I don't believe he's typical, and you've confirmed it.
No, I appreciate that, but I wish I was.
I wish to hell you were.
You know, I really wish I was. So do I say this now? What time is it?
Yeah.
I'm working on a project. Also, no idea when it's going to launch, if it'll launch, if anything will happen.
So you're working on a bill.
Working on a bill,
and you're working on a project.
I think the bill will gain. I think the bill could gain traction. I'm hopeful for that.
Okay, so you're working on a project separate from the bill.
I'm working on a project separate from a bill.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is a parental support / education project, because parents don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Right. Like I said, how do you check and see what your kids are and are not learning, right? Because oftentimes what's more important isn't just what's said or what's being taught, it's what's not being taught or said. And do parents have the support they need, or the resources they need, or maybe they know something's missing, they don't know exactly what it is, to help them have those conversations with their children and students and so forth. So I've actually had some ideas about how to start some of those conversations, some things that I've been successful with, I think, and just kind of a way to help parents that may be looking for some place to start.
So have you gotten to the point where it's not just an abstract like that, but it could take eventually, do you have an idea in what form you want this to take?
I have an idea. Everything is very preliminary, and
Okay.
I'm like a month or two into this project, so it's very, very new.
Okay, so
but
research.
that's my
You're in the research phase.
I am, but that's my idea, because I've had several people come up to me and say, I don't even know where to begin in terms of how to help my kids, or even identify what's going on,
what's lacking.
Yeah.
Like you say, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. So, and I'm not saying it's going to be monetized or anything like that, because.
But again, I'd say that's incredibly significant that you're even thinking about things like this, which is, again, confirms what I suspected about you anyway. So the next question is, are we back next week?
We're back next week.
How back are we?
We're very back. We're so back.
How?
We're back.
Does
like bad boys.
Does your baby got back? Does the woke baby got back?
All babies got back.
Well, that's true.
Right?
So it wouldn't be limited to woke babies.
No, absolutely not, because we don't discriminate.
Okay.
Nor do we take American Express.
Okay.
Or personal check.
Or personal checks.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're 15
Thank you for
minutes
bonus
over.
time.
Yeah.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, it was. But I somehow suspected you'd grab it and run. So, folks, This has been the Shat Show. That's Sackhead's Clint. I'm Sackhead's BZ. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. SHRmedia.com. Tomorrow night in the saloon, Alan Thomas and an SHR Media Network special. What do you want from law enforcement? God bless, folks. Take care. Good night.